Hello, everyone. Happy Valentine's Day. This is AliciaMarie Belchak, Life Mastery Consultant, coming to you live from a very warm and sunny 40-degree day here in Michigan. And I just wanted to share with you some fun tips I have been thinking about and learning more about with my own mentor, Mary Morrissey. We talk a lot about love because there really is no higher calling and no higher vibration in our existence as humans than to be called to love. And what better day than Valentine's Day to remember that and to kind of celebrate love in all its forms, not just romantic love, but also the love that comes when we are parents, the love that comes when we're children, even as grown-up children, the love that comes between friends, the love that comes between neighbors, the love that comes between strangers, even if we allow it. And this is a dynamic love, a transformative love that we can all experience and that we are actually birthed from and is our birthright. We have an enormous capacity to love, and that includes remembering to love ourselves. We can only love others as much as we really love ourselves. No matter how much we love others, we still have the limit only within ourselves of what we are allowed for ourselves to receive. Love to ourselves, love for ourselves, love through ourselves. We're limitless beings if we choose to be. So love helps us unlock that. And when I work with my coaching clients, actually, one of the biggest questions I help them think through on a constant repetitive basis is, what would I love? And the companion to that is, what would love do here? When we can answer what would I love in any given moment and also what would love do here in this situation, we are able to bring a whole new perspective. We can't hold in our hearts bitterness and resentment when we also have love. So let's talk about what this dynamic, transformative love can look like. Let's talk about it in very concrete terms. About 40 years ago, excuse me, my door blew open. I can't believe how awesome it is to be outside on a gorgeous day. Hello there, Christine. Nice to see you joining me. So this dynamic, transformative love, let's talk about that for a minute. This is a love that enables us to be giving, generous, forgiving, compassionate, both with ourselves and with others, and to be able to make a difference. And about 40 years ago, there was a study done with about 20,000 Americans. And even though it was 40 years ago, it's still very applicable today. And they asked, what is it that makes you feel loved? And some of these answers are going to sound familiar, and some of them might actually surprise you. There are 6 supplies of love that this survey determined. And if we build a common knowledge and common language around this can help us understand not only ourselves, but the people we interact with on a daily basis and how perhaps they prefer to be shown love. And the first most common kind of love or example or being felt like they're being cared and loved for was just simply by being listened to. Listened to in a way that is deep and understanding and reflective, showing that you really understand the other person. So this is not listening to just talk, right? This is not listening to just become whatever the next thing out of my own head will be, or to say the next thing or argue my point or things like that. This is really listening. Seeing the other person for who they are and listening to them, whether you agree with it, whether you disagree with it. And if you think about it, this is a really powerful thing. This is the number one most common way people feel heard and loved. And think about what's going on in our country right now. Think about all the different factions we have and different various opinions on things about what might be a good thing to do, what might be a bad thing to do, what might be right, what might be wrong. But really, listening to another person on this kind of profoundly deep, reflective way, whether we agree with them or not, doesn't matter. We can put that aside and just let it fly by us and reflect back to them. I hear you. You said you really don't like it that this thing is going on. You really don't like it when this thing happens to you, or you really love it when this thing happens to you. And use their words back to them. People feel really heard when you say exactly what they said. And when they don't hear that back and you invite them, say, is that what I really heard? They're going to be more than happy to give you some advice on what they really meant. So think about that, what the power of that in our own country, even if we don't agree with each other. What could we be doing to show love and really ultimately tolerance through love because of that? But even in our own families, I know it works great with kids as a parent. And that kind of brings me to point number 2, also as a parent, but in any relationship. The second supply of love that was most common was actually praise and acknowledgement. And so words of encouragement, words of, I see you doing this amazing thing, and really being specific with it. If you can be time-based, so it's not a year later, or, it's in the moment or shortly thereafter. It really made me feel special yesterday when you gave me that nice compliment about my outfit. I really felt seen, and it was a special outfit. So thank you very much. That kind of praise and acknowledgement is really powerful to receive as well as to give back. And when we're working with our kids, oftentimes they don't hear enough praise in their day, even at school. And I heard somewhere in my child development education years that it takes they'll hear 10 yeses for every no in their day. And if you think about that, that's a lot of negativity for every yes. So even if we can switch around our no's to be more positive and be, I hear you, honey. You really would love to have a cupcake right now. And we're not going to do that till after dinner. It just changes the dynamic. And it shows them love. Or, wow, you have a great picture there. That's one kind of praise. But what if we went a next step and said, I really like how you use the color blue very specifically in this corner. That's pretty impressive. It makes a whole difference in the tone and the feeling of the meaning for that particular praise. So, number 2, praise and acknowledgement, and being as specific as we can with our friends and neighbors and the people we interact with, even at work. But also, even if we have some kind of angst or roughness around friction, we can even look for just what is good. If you interact with a person, you can silently praise them before you ever reach them in your conversation. I praise the good that is in you. Whether you believe it or see it or not, doesn't matter. Just come from that vibration, because I guarantee you won't be able to act differently, the same harshness with a person when you come from that point of view of praising in the act of love. So remember, it's in the giving that we receive. So number 3, love supply is touch. This is not surprising, but this is appropriate touch. We want to be thinking about, are we getting enough hugs in our day? Are we getting a kind tap on the shoulder? Are we giving those kinds of interactions? And of course, appropriate. Everybody has a different kind of boundary around that sort of thing, depending on the right situation. But we are human beings, and we have a highly developed sense of touch. Our skin is our number 1 biggest organ. It covers our entire body. It allows us to interact with this world. And it has a huge number of receptors and nerves designed to experience touch. So we feel loved when we have that kind of contact with people. So remember to hug someone, remember to snuggle someone, offer a hug, see what people are comfortable with. Even a handshake makes a difference. Number 4, love supply may surprise you. The survey showed that the 4th most common way of feeling loved was to receive feedback. What kind of feedback? Loving and caring, supportive feedback. Not feedback that's just harsh and meant to belittle, but feedback that says, hey, I see something about you and I really care about you. And if you're interested, would you like to know how you could be better? How could you be a better person? Or heck, is there spinach in my teeth today? I would appreciate the gift of feedback then too. So we feel loved, we feel cared for, we feel supported when we are shown that here's a way you can grow, here's a way you can be better, here's a way that I know you're better than what behavior you've been having. And I actually think I'm going to have an opportunity to practice this tonight after school. When my children come home, I got a call today from the school about my little guy, who is the most loving, supportive, sweet guy, but he's got a quick temper, and apparently it flared up at school today. So we're going to be talking a little more about that, and really, I think he just wants to feel loved and feel like he's successful too. So we're going to be practicing the gift of feedback tonight. And number 5 kind of goes with feedback, and that is we feel loved as humans when we are supported in our goals and our dreams. So it doesn't matter if you think you agree or don't agree with someone's goals or their dreams or their ambitions, or if their skill set or talent could be used in a different way. This is important, especially, I guess, as we grow and become parents of older children. As an adult child, I know that there have been many times in my life when it would be nice to have been supported in a different way in career choices or finances or decisions. But when we do feel supported, even if it's just like, wow, I really think you can do whatever it is you set your mind to do. I believe in you. That's kind of a transmission of belief in someone. Makes them feel really, really loved. So number 6, are we ready for the big drum roll? This one could be a little surprising too, and kind of comes along with this, but it comes down to having clear agreements in our relationships, kind of the safety and trust aspect of a relationship. People feel loved when they know what they can expect of you and that you're going to deliver on your promises, and that when we don't, we have a communication pathway to be able to manage that. And there's tons of psychology and studies about how to do that, but that might be a topic for another day. Today, on Valentine's Day, we're going to celebrate supporting how we can make someone else feel trusted and safe, and that we're trustworthy and safe. And I think, when you look back at all of these love supplies, they kind of come down to one basic thing, and that is really the human need to be seen and heard and understood in any capacity, unconditionally. And so those are the 6 love supplies that the study showed, and that I just recently had the opportunity to learn even deeper on with my mentor, Mary Morrissey. And I just want to say that I love you being here with me today, whether you're watching it live or you're watching it later. This morning, I was at the Women's Resource Center here in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and we talked about self-love specifically. And I just want to say that I was inspired by each of the people I was with, each of the ladies I was with this morning. Self-love has to do with all these things, too. How can you practice listening to yourself without the voice of criticism, without the voice of judgment? How can you practice listening more deeply to that small, still voice inside of you that's trying to speak? How can you give yourself praise and acknowledgement so that when you have successes, whether they're big or small, you can remember them? How can you practice enveloping yourself in some sort of loving embrace and giving yourself, when you do have the gift of feedback, the gift of understanding that it is coming from a place of love? And what can you do to support yourself in your goals, your dreams, and create your own trust, which remember was number 6. Trust yourself to deliver on your own promises. There's lots of things that I can do, talk about with my coaching clients to help them and support them in that process of learning to support themselves and really become their biggest cheerleader and motivation to go for their gold. Go for the gold. Go Olympics, right? We're in the Olympic race of our own life. So I'd love to hear from you if you have any insights or anything new, any other ideas about love that you would like to put down. Put them in the comments below. And I'm really glad that you were here with me today. And I wish you the best. Sending all my love from this heart chakra to yours. Have a great Valentine's. Thanks.